We have a presentation that is going to take about an hour. I'd like for you to reserve your questions until the end. We will stay here as long as you have questions and answer everything. If it's of a personal nature or a curricular question that is specific to you, we'll answer all those questions individually afterwards. But I bet you we cover everything you need to know in this first hour, so we ask that you hold your questions till the end. Let me introduce myself. I'm out of breath because I ran down the hall to get Miss Perry. My name is Ellen Koehler. I am the ADN program head, the Associate's Degree in Nursing program head here at Rappahannock Community College. Been here for 5.5 years. I'm a nurse for 20 years this year, so that's pretty amazing. I didn't go to school until I was later in life. So those of you that are later in life people, that's a wonderful way to discover what you want to do. Here we go. Everybody's arrived. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get going on how to apply to our program, okay? Dean Smith?
Good afternoon. I'm out of breath. I ran over here, so you have to forgive me. I'm Dr. Charles Smith. I'm the Dean of Health Sciences here. All the nursing programs, all the health sciences programs fall under my division. So we all work very closely together to keep everything streamlined and moving forward really well. This nursing program, excuse me, as you might know, or maybe you don't know, is rated one of the tops in the state. It is #1 in the VCCS by virtue of NCLEX pass rates. 100% last year. Did great, both programs, PN and ADN and EMS for that matter. And we are well regarded. We have a lot of people interested in coming to our nursing programs, both PN and ADN. Employers want our students. We want good students, and we want you to be successful. The faculty have worked really, really hard to make sure that the program that you are getting ready to apply is not only rigorous but doable. They have set themselves out to make sure that everybody gets what they need, and they work tirelessly with students to help them get what they need. All we ask is that you come prepared to work and work hard. It is a difficult program, just like every other nursing program, but it's so worth it. I've been a nurse for 45 years. I've been a nurse longer than, I don't see anybody who I think is older than 45. Never mind. I said I don't see anybody who looks like they're older than 45. So anyway, I've seen a lot of changes. I kind of know what I'm doing in nursing. I've proved it, and I know what these faculty have been doing. They have also proved that they know what they're doing in nursing. So listen carefully, come prepared to work, come prepared to meet your partners in this education process, and come to be a success, because that's our major goal for you. Thank you, and have a great afternoon, and stay safe on the roads.
Hi, I'm Sue Perry, and I am the program head for the practical nursing program here at Rappahannock Community College. I am just starting my second year in this role. Just started that in January. And the practical nursing program works very closely with the associate degree in nursing program. It provides actually just another route of getting into the associate degree program. So our students can end up being practical nurses, and that may be where they want to stay, but they can also move forward from there and do the bridge program and go into the associate degree in nursing program and move forward. So it just provides another avenue for getting that done. I look forward to working with all of you. Is there anything else you wanted me to? Do you want to start? Oh, I can. I have to be able to see. Okay, so again, what I just said, there are really two paths or two routes. There's the practical nursing and there is the registered nursing. And what you will find is that many of the facilities in healthcare today you don't necessarily start one path and end at the end of that path. Most of our nurses will continue on and move down the path and go forward. So they might start out in practical, or they might start out as nurse aide and then go into practical nursing, and then from there go into the associate degree in nursing, and then from there get their BSN, and then maybe from there move on for their master's in nursing, which is what I did. Oh, I didn't start at nurse aide, but I started ADN. But I've seen a lot of people who started at nurse aide and gone that path the whole route and ended up with their master's in nursing. So we have a couple of different pathways for going into the associate degree in nursing program, and one of those is through the practical nursing program. Anything else you want to say?
So we're going to tag team off each other. We've been doing this enough that we can talk really quickly about this. There is a difference in the types of roles that a practical nurse or a licensed practical nurse can get and a registered nurse can get in the beginning. And we're seeing a huge change in that, so I might be changing my words here shortly because hospitals are now hiring LPNs again because of the nursing shortage and also because they're well qualified and ready to go. So there's this role there, but traditionally, up until this very moment, LPNs can get jobs in lots of home care facilities, long-term care facilities, doctor's offices, where the registered nurse can do all those plus have positions in acute care hospitals. So there is some role differences, at least initially, but here we look at a nurse as a nurse, and we've also made sure that all of our programs will flow into one another, and we'll talk about that as we go, how that will work for you. So you need to decide what's important to you. Is education to work, the timeline, the quickest route that you want, important to you because you need to be getting a good paycheck, or you want to start working, or have a family, or do any other things that you're interested in? Then perhaps a practical nursing route is good for you because that is a 3-semester program. That program starts in the summer, has a fall and spring semester, and you're done by the following May, and you can test the following summer and be working that next summer. So it's a 1-year program. The associate's degree program starts in the fall and takes 2 years. You graduate 2 years. So this cohort will be, we will call the class of 2020. Wow. And you will graduate in May and be able to start working as an RN that summer. If you finish the practical nursing program in May after your first year, you can bridge into our bridge program that starts in the summer, and that's this group. We'll start this summer, and you have 2 semesters after that if you're successful. So we know we have a great program. We have a transitioning programs that fit within each other. You need to decide, and let us help you decide based on your grades, your TEAS results, and all those sort of things, and what's best for you in your life. We can help you with that. If you are not an LPN, you can apply to both programs. In fact, you should apply to both programs because then we will help you make the decision. You can tell us which one you prefer, but we can make sure you get into a program here at RCC and with your end result in mind.
What I like to say is just, I don't want to see anybody like I have seen sometimes in the past, and they applied only, for example, to the ADN program, were not accepted into the ADN program, and then they had nothing. If you apply to both the PN program and the ADN program, we look at all of everything that you submitted, and we determine which program we think you are best suited for, which one you fit into, so you come out with something. Okay, instead of if you've only applied to one program, you may come out with nothing. So it's really advantageous to apply to both.
And our point is, last year, this cohort that just started last fall in the ADN program, we had a cutoff of like a GPA of 3.4 or 3 or something really high. So somebody with a really high GPA of 3.1 didn't get in, but very, very qualified. Very qualified, and we were sad not to have a seat for them. So if they would have jumped into the PM program, they'd be halfway done.
Right.
So we could have put them in to the ADN program next year, and the timeline from PN to ADN is 1 extra semester, I think we decided.
I think it's two
Two extra,
summers.
two
It's
summers.
2 summers is all
Summer
it is.
sessions. So time frame wise, it still works out to be about the same thing, just an extra summer. Okay, so this year what we've decided is we have 1 application to fill out for any one of the routes that you get into this program. Each of our programs has a different website in RCC, and we will have individual instructions, but the actual application will be the same. You'll be able to check at the top which program you're applying to. If it's more than one, you can check both. But essentially, the application will be the same.
And that's for the PN, the bridge, and the ADN. So all 3 of those.
And guaranteed admission.
And guaranteed admission.
Guaranteed admission we'll talk about in just a second. Our program is rigorous. You heard Dr. Smith talking about this is a hard but worthy program. Our labs are active. Our labs are high-tech. Our clinical settings are hands-on, wonderful experiences from Fredericksburg to Newport News to Richmond and all places in between. We have a very unique, large service region, and we go to lots of facilities in this area. You get lots of exposure to lots of places. But it is a rigorous program that you need to be prepared for in many ways. This program, either one of these programs, or all 3 I should say, I'm counting the bridge as being a program, are separate applications from RCC. So you have to be an RCC student first, and then you apply and compete essentially for a spot in any of our programs. We do have a limited amount of space. In fact, we're busting at the seams here at RCC in our class size. This is the biggest classroom here, and we can't use this room because it doesn't have computers. So we are busting at the seams in our class and our lab. Oh gosh, my mail is still on, sorry. So you can imagine that we want the best folks in the seats, but if you are not accepted, that doesn't mean you are not qualified. It just means our space is limited. We have 6 full-time faculty to run both programs, and we have nearly 200 students all together. A whole lot of adjuncts, and you put together all our years of experience, it adds up into the hundreds of experience of teaching and being a nurse, okay? Only the most qualified students will get accepted, and for the ADN program, we'll tell you what that looks like. We try to be as objective as possible. That's why we don't accept letters of recommendation or anything like that anymore. We're looking at GPA. We'll talk about what each program requirements are as we get to those. Submission of your application does not guarantee you a seat in any program. Unless you're guaranteed admission, then we will guarantee you a seat in a nursing program. And guaranteed admission is a little bit different. When we talk about it's rigorous, we talk about due dates, I need you to pay really special attention to due dates, because if our due date is May 2nd and you come up May 3rd with an application, we will not accept. March 2nd. March 2nd. We won't accept it because we need you to follow direction. We need you to follow direction, and it wouldn't be fair to those that were here on time. So we're trying to emphasize that now so that you are not left behind, because we want you. Be aware that if you work in a hospital in any capacity, don't get on their do not hire list. Don't leave the job without notice, because it is a potential of you being put on their do not hire list, and that could stop you or block you from going to clinical at that facility. So be very, very careful in everything you do in this field, in this profession, to protect yourself. If you are on a do not hire list for any reason, try to get off of it. Investigate it and figure that out.
And it's not just if you work at a hospital. It's if you work at any pretty much healthcare facility. For example, anything that is a Riverside Holding So if it belongs to Riverside and you work there and you are on their do not hire list, then you could be blocked from going to clinicals. So if you worked at a doctor's office that was a Riverside doctor's office or an urgent care or any of a long-term care facility that belonged to Riverside or any of that, if you are on their do not hire list, that could block you being able to go to clinicals at any Riverside facility.
Sometimes you can accept a job. This happened, I have experience with this with a couple of students. You accepted a job and you never started because something fell through. They'll put you on the do not hire list unbeknownst to you. So be careful to check that. I had a student who was blocked because he was a lifeguard at the wellness center and left before his 2 weeks were up, and he got put on the do not hire list. So he had to work really hard to get himself off that list. That's why we bring that up, because they're the ones that tell us who can come to their facilities for clinical experiences. So that's a beast all in itself, trying to get you at the clinical setting. When you apply or bring in your application, you must meet with a nursing advisor. We're the only ones that are accepting these applications. We will put up the instructions of how to make appointments with us, and we will review your transcript while you're there with us and make sure everything is where it needs to be, that you brought everything that was included in your application. We will make sure it's right, and we have to sign off on it and turn it in so when we sit down on our admission committee that it is ready to go and we can answer you whether you have a seat in the program rather quickly. So you need to make sure you have a nursing advisor in order to know who to make an appointment with. Any one of us will see you, but it's really important that you have the right program of study in your RCC and your SIS so that you know who to see. You should be sure that you are enrolled in pre-nursing right now or pre-practical nursing right now. You can't be enrolled into the nursing program until you are actually accepted into the program. So at RCC, you should have pre-nursing as your major. And if you don't know how to check that, we can talk about that later with you individually, okay? This program, I always put this up here and I always talk about it when I get to it. It does cost money to come to this program. Not just tuition. It is our e-books, our books, our uniforms, stethoscopes, travel to all of our facilities. It does cost money. But if we want to compare us to any school, any bachelor's program, lots of other nursing programs, I think we're one of the cheapest and the smartest routes to go. Financially, it's a smart way to go. But you need to be prepared that if you have a full-time job and you have to work full-time because you need to pay your bills and keep the roof over your head, this may not be for you. Because this program, either of these programs, is a full-time job in and of itself. And classically, traditionally, and almost always, people that fail out of our program are those that work too much. Okay? If you work too much, you cannot devote the right amount of time to this program. So be very careful about that. We want you to be sure this is for you. I've had students accept a position in our program and then realize they had a brand new baby, 4-month-old baby, and that was too much. When we talked about it at orientation, how much that was going to be time-wise for them, and they realized it wasn't for them at that moment. If you accept the position, that means you are ready to go. Because if you accept, you took the seat of somebody else who perhaps could have been ready to go. So be very, very sure in advance of your application and your acceptance that you are able to do this program as a full-time student, okay? You need to work out your life plan. That's the point. All right, so this section I'm going to talk about the ADN and I call it the LPN to ADN bridge program. ADN starting in the fall, and the bridge students, I use those words interchangeably. LPN to ADN and bridge students will start this summer. So you must be admitted to RCC, have all your transcripts here or bring them as, official transcripts with your application. If you think you have turned them in, you need to verify that they have been scanned in and accepted here at RCC. You have to have all your transcripts from any place here, including high school transcripts.
And they should go to admissions and records.
Admissions
is where
and
you want to turn them in to admissions and records, and they need to be official transcripts, which means if they came to you in an envelope, a sealed envelope, it has to stay sealed when you hand it in. You can't open it, look at it, and then take it with the seal broken because they won't, admissions and records won't accept it. They need to be official transcripts.
We want you to apply for scholarships and get your FAFSA forms all filled out now. Scholarships at RCC, they're often many nursing scholarships that are earmarked for nursing students, period. We have lots of money to share. I don't want you missing that opportunity. So you should apply for those now, and that's an online form, I believe, to fill out. And make sure that you're tapping into resources that you may not even know are there. Sometimes I get calls from our scholarship folks and say, hey, we have more money to give. Who would be a good candidate for that? Wouldn't you want to be one of those? So you have to have a form filled out, so be sure you do that. Be sure that you check out our websites. We try to keep those as up-to-date and live as absolutely possible, except for the Bridge program, which I'll talk about in just a minute. That has all our prerequisite semester course requirements in there. Yes, SDV and S100 and 101 are interchangeable. We can put in course subs for those. But be sure that we now have a new curriculum with a prerequisite semester. You have to be sure those are all done. If you're in your last class of those requirements, you can certainly still apply if you are going to finish this spring. But we are giving precedence to those that are all done at application. That doesn't mean you don't know how many people are all done, so that please apply even if you have a class or 2 or 3 still left to take and you're in them this spring. Okay, so application and all of this information, by the way, I'm talking 100 miles a minute. It's not how I usually talk. Trying to get through it in an hour. All this information will be in the application packet. Some people do better by hearing it and being here, and some people do better by reading it. But all of this information is in the packet. Read everything very carefully. Our applications are due by March 2nd by 4 p.m. And that doesn't mean you can show up at 3:59 to our office and not have an appointment and be able to have time to get in. So you have to have an appointment to see us. Like I said, any one of us will see you and we'll do our best to get you in, but you cannot be late on that. Application will be, hard copies will be out, I'm hoping, Monday. With the snow closures, is pushed back and pushed back our ability to process through the approval piece of our application, but ours are done, and we're waiting on that piece. It should be out Monday, but we won't accept any applications until February 1. And our application to fill out is very short. It's not that hard, real simple. You should be able to get it done in 15 minutes. As long as you have everything done and all your transcripts, you're good to go. If accepted, this is the ADN, traditional, starting in fall. If accepted, you will be required to come to a mandatory orientation on May 14th. We've already put that on our calendars. That's after graduation and everything here. We will tell you that in your acceptance letter, where and when and how to meet us. But please put that on your radar, that if you're accepted in the ADN program, that's where the orientation will be. Because there's still a lot of work to do over the summer in getting you prepared to start the program. So we meet with you early so you have lots of time to do that. So the requirements for the ADN program, we're still talking about just that route right now. High school grad or GED. Completing all RCC enrollment, which means the testing, math and English, and testing out of those. We ask that you have high school chemistry and biology, but we will also accept if you have successfully completed Bio 141 and 142, that will suffice for science knowledge, and we will make the exception for that, okay? You have to have completed MTE 1 through 5 or taken a math course that is high enough that has those requirements. And there's your completion courses. English, Bio 141, Developmental Psych, Health 230, and SDB 100 or 101. You do have to take the TEAS test. Everybody has to take the TEAS test. You have to have what we call proficient on your TEAS results, and, this is brand new, and 45th national percentile ranking. Have to be both. Some, or higher. Some people have a proficient rating on their TEAS results, but is a 43rd or 42nd percentile ranking. That will qualify you for the practical nursing program, but it will not qualify you for the ADN program. You can take the TEAS exam more than once. The LPN to ADN or the bridge program. Same requirements for getting in. The addition is Bio 141 and 142 need to be completed along with those other courses that we talked about previously. You do have to take the TEAS. Preferably 45th national percentile ranking, but we will look at those. Don't not apply just because yours is a little lower, but it must have proficient on it. You can take it more than once.
But you can only take it
Twice in
a
an
year.
academic year at RCC.
Right.
Okay. Your application is due March 2nd, same as everybody else. You can start submitting applications as early as February 1st. This is also new. Mandatory orientation is March 20th. I do not have the time or the place currently ironed out. We are frantically working out those details. That will be in your acceptance letter of where. If you cannot come to that meeting, you need to speak with me really quick, because typically if you don't show, we give your spot to somebody else. Because there is typically, in the LPN Bridge program, there's typically a lot of people that are very interested in that. We only take the top students in that, so we have people who are eager to get in. Now, I don't know how many applicants I'm going to have, but based on all of our information sessions, it has been very heavy in Bridge students. Because this is only our second year, I think, doing this in the 3 semesters, and I know it's very attractive to many. Okay, I can stop talking for a second.
The practical nursing program will begin end of May. So as she said before, it starts the end of May. It goes through 10 weeks of the summer, then 15 weeks in the fall, 15 weeks in the spring, with graduation that May. Okay? What am I doing? Just scroll? Okay. Oh, go back. Okay. So, just like the other programs, the application is due by March 2nd, because it's the same application for all the programs. So the application is due March 2nd. We will notify you by March 19th. If you are accepted into the practical nursing program, there is a mandatory orientation on March 23rd.
Is that correct? I think we changed it to the 19th.
I think that, yeah, that date is, yeah, that's an error. It should be March 19th, because I'm not available on the, right. Okay, so that, the mandatory orientation will be March 19th, not 23rd, 19th.
And that will be on the application, and it will
Right.
be on our website very clearly what the date is.
Okay.
That's us trying to coordinate with the scrub people and all kinds of other things, so that
Which means,
date has been flexible a little bit.
I think that you will be notified. If I look back, I think it's it's either the 12th or the 15th. I can't remember which. I have to go back and look again. But the notification date was somewhere around the 12th or the 15th, I believe. And then the mandatory orientation is on the 19th. You're right.
Sorry about that.
Okay. The application process for the practical nursing program, just like with the other programs, you first have to have completed an application to Rappahannock Community College and be admitted to the college itself. You have to have all of your official transcripts brought in. You should submit them to admissions and records. They should be evaluated by a nursing advisor, so we know what you've had and what you still need, so forth. You need to file for financial aid, and I think she had that it was February 16th was the date to file for for financial aid and scholarships. And you need to complete the academic requirements. So that includes you have to be a high school graduate or have a GED. You have to have had 1 unit of high school biology, not chemistry, or chemistry. It could be biology or chemistry, not both, one or the other. Or you can have to have 1 unit of college, either biology or chemistry. Doesn't have to be both, one or the other. Okay? And that can be just high school biology. It could be Bio 101. It could be Bio 142. It has to be some type of either biology or 1 semester of chemistry. Okay? You have to complete all of the placement testing and all of the developmental education if required. And I think you have to have MTE 1 through 3. You have to have completed that. And you have to be eligible to be enrolled in English 111. Okay, so you have to be English 111 placement eligible. You also have to complete the TEAS test. On the TEAS test, we require a score of basic or above. Okay, so that's a little bit lower than what the ADN program requires, so it has to be a score of basic or above and have a cumulative GPA of 2.0. And your GPA, if you don't have any college credits, if you've not been to college before and don't have any college credits, we will be looking at your high school GPA. If you have college credits, we'll be looking at your college GPA, your current college GPA. Okay? So for your TEAS test, you go to atitesting.com. And you will set up an account with your name and your password.
Don't register for any testing site. Just get a login through atitesting.com, and then we'll tell you the rest here.
Okay. You may want to purchase the study materials. There are study materials available. You want to score as high as you possibly can on the TEAS, so you want to study for it before you take it. Don't go in there cold and try to take it because you probably won't do well. It's heavy on English, math, and science. So if you're rusty on your science, I would suggest doing some studying, look at some science prior to. Make sure that you bone up on that so that you can score well on it. So you can purchase study materials. I believe there are some study materials in the library that you may be able to use. I think we have a website we can direct you to. Also, if you email us and ask us, I think I have a website that you can go to that has some study materials on it as well. So we'll be glad to do that for you, but you do want to study. Then you have to make an appointment with the RCC Testing Center to take the test. So you can take it in any one of our RCC testing centers, but you do have to make an appointment to go and take it. You have to select which test to take. Okay. You can pay using a credit card online. You can use a credit card to pay online in the testing center just before you take the exam. So when you schedule your time and you come in and bring your credit card, then you can use your credit card to pay right before you take the exam, okay, or the test. And it may take you several hours, so don't want to plan just an hour for this. You want to plan more than that, a couple of hours at least.
It can take up to 4 hours to take it, so plan accordingly.
Okay, so everybody got that. It can take up to 4 hours to take it. This is what you will see after you take it. It will give you, and you can see where the purple arrow is there. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for your academic preparedness level. Here you see this one is listed as proficient, and it gives you your total score. And where is the
national percentile rank will be in a different spot. That's where the 45th is. If you have proficient, the next thing you need to look for is national percentile rank, or come see one of us. We'll help you read it.
Okay, that's for the ADN program. For the PN program, we're looking for it to say basic. There where it says proficient, we're looking for it to say basic or above. I mean, certainly above is fine. That application will be online. Remember, again, it's one application for all 3 programs. It'll be online. You can complete it electronically, then print it out, initial, and sign. Go through and make sure you have filled it out completely, that you have signed where you're supposed to sign, that you've initialed where you're supposed to initial. Then make an appointment to meet with a nursing advisor, preferably your nursing advisor, but if not, a nursing advisor. Okay? The nursing advisor, you bring your completed application that you printed out, bring it to that meeting along with your transcripts, and we will go over it with you to make sure everything is done and we have everything that we need. And then we will make a copy, or you can make a copy for your records, because you want to make sure you keep a copy. Don't give us the only copy you have and walk away. That's not good. So make sure that you make a copy for your records as well. Oops.
If you have an RCC or a VCCS, college credits only, you do not need to bring a transcript. We have access to all of that. So if all the colleges you've ever been to are RCC or any VCCS college, then don't worry about transcripts on that, okay?
Once accepted into the program, you will need American Heart Association basic life support certification for healthcare providers. It has to be, we are asking for it to be by the American Heart Association. We want that particular certification because that's what some of our facilities require. It has to be BLS, basic life support. I guess it could be higher. No. Okay, but it has to be BLS. And you can't do that online. It has to be a course. It has to be a hands-on course certification. You can't go online and get the certification.
I wouldn't recommend, if you're ADN traditional fall start group, that you do that before summer, because what you don't want is for your CPR to expire any time during a semester that you are in this program. If you're a bridge student or a PN student, you can certainly take that anytime now, but be careful that your CPR card cannot expire. If you have a current one, it cannot expire while you're in clinical. The clinical facilities check that crazy thing. They check that date. If your CPR is going to expire while you're in clinical, you cannot go. So be careful choosing that. For ADNs, it would be, to me, I wouldn't take it till summer.
That's because it's good for 2 years. Your certification is good for 2 years, so you want to make sure it's good throughout your entire program.
Right.
Once you take it. You will need to purchase student liability insurance, and we will give you a couple of options of places that you can do that. You will have to have a physical so that your physician can certify that you have the essential function necessary to do the physical part of the nursing program during clinicals and campus labs. And you need to be ready financially. Okay, we can't stress that enough, because there are things that you will have to pay for in this program, plus it's going to require a lot of your time. And as Ms. Koehler said before, you really can't be working full time and expect to do well in any of these programs. Okay, so make sure you've got your financial life in order.
Okay, well, that does conclude the prepared part of our, it was fast, wasn't it? The prepared part of our information session. We are now ready to answer any questions that could pertain to anybody, not your specific questions. We did that in record time. Well, let's start over here. Is there any questions here in Glenn's? Yes.
How much does the ADN program cost?
Okay, that's a great question. It was, how much does the program cost? On our website, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but on our website, if you go into academics tab and then find applied science degree tab and look for the ADN, we should bring it up and show them. Curriculum with hiding my, can you take that off for now? Well, no, okay, it's up there. Anyway, you can go, and we have actually estimated out the cost. It's a teeny bit higher than what you'll probably actually be, but we did that on purpose, like for gas. I don't know how much your gas would be. We have estimated each of our programs out for cost, down to scrubs, stethoscope, lab kits, travel expense, everything we could possibly think of, we have put a number to it, and it is on our website.
I'll give you another way to do that, to look for that. If you go to the RCC webpage, find the search box, type in the program that you're interested in. So if you type in associate degree in nursing and then search, it will bring up various things that you can click on. And when you find the one that says associate degree in nursing, click on that and it will take you to that page. It's going to give you all the requirements for applying, all the courses throughout the course, all the co-requisites, all the nursing courses, it breaks down and gives you all the cost. If you want to look at the practical nursing program, all you type in is practical nursing certificate. And it'll bring up that page, and you can find all that information. So to me, that's an easy way to find those, whichever one you're looking for. Okay? And it will give you an estimate of the costs. I can tell you that the costs are going to include things like not just your books and your courses, but will also, like I said, you got to have a physical. You have to make sure that you have all of your immunizations. You have to get a flu vaccine. You have to have liability insurance. You have to have CPR. You have to have purchase a lab pack that we use in campus lab. And that they're not real expensive, but it is a cost. You have to purchase Kaplan. Kaplan is a program that we use to help get you ready to take your boards or your NCLEX. And we use it every semester. I guess y'all do too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we utilize it every semester. And then at the end, there's a Kaplan course that is provided to you to help prepare you. And then there are materials that Kaplan provides to keep you studying right up until the time you take your NCLEX, so that you are getting better and better all the time. But that costs. So that Kaplan program, you have to pay for that as well.
The other expense would be, and I don't know why we didn't talk about uniforms would be one, but you are required to do a background check and a drug screen.
Right.
And that is expense that you have to do. We tell you all about this at orientation, how you do that. If you have a background with some type of, what's the word? Barrier crime. Ooh, that's what I was looking for. If you have a barrier crime, you need to investigate whether that will clear or not. And the Board of Nursing website, the Virginia Board of Nursing website, has a list of barrier crimes. And you can also check with Castle Branch if your background will go through or not. We do not get into the business of saying yes or no based on if you have a crime or a judgment against you. We don't get in that business at all. We don't want to know what's on that. All we want to know from this company, that professional company that does this, is are they clear to go to clinical or not? We don't care about all the rest. We just care whether you're clear or not. And they have very strict standards based on our clinical facility requirements of what constitutes you being clear or not. We call it the big green check. If you're clear, they give us a big green check. If you're not clear, they give us a red X. That's all we want to know.
So that's another expense. You have to purchase a Castle Branch account. Castle Branch is a company that we contract with who manages all of your documentation, background check, urine drug screen, your immunizations, your CPR, your everything that are required for clinicals, all gets uploaded into your Castle Branch account, and they manage that for us. But you have to purchase the account, so that's another expense.
How long is that good for? Like if we did the CNA class here already last semester, we had to do Castle Branch? Yes. If you have done Castle Branch for the CNA program here at RCC for this semester, we will ask them to switch your account over to us, and you will have a reduction, but you were not required to do some of the extra things that our programs require. We'll just add that on. So will be a big reduction in the background and drug screening as long as you're active this semester. We'll talk to you about your individual situation, and we will work with you on that so you aren't double charged on that.
What
Yes.
she's saying is you won't have to open a new account, but you may have additional documents or different documents that have to be uploaded into that account based on our requirements,
Right.
which can be different from other programs' requirements. But you won't have to set up a new account. But you may have to upload different things. You may have to do another drug screen because we have specific criteria from our facilities on what has to be in the drug screen, what has to be in the background check. So, but we can roll you over.
Another question over here. I'm sorry, right here in the front. I'll get you.
How much time are we gonna have to like complete that, castle, like, the castle branch and when you want us to sign on?
So the question is, how much time will we have to complete the Castle Branch? In the application, which should be out on Monday, we develop a timeline that we think you should be at milestones. We also give a drop dead date when everything needs to be done, and we push that as far off before the semester starts as possible. So for traditional ADN, it's sometime in early August. For bridge students, it's sometime late May, I believe. I actually have that timeline. We don't check that you're at these milestones. We give you guidelines. We tell you what you have to do. And then we have a deadline, a complete deadline. But we will march you through all that at orientation, but it is also on the application.
The bottom line with that is, if we get to the time to start clinicals, you don't have everything in Castle Branch, you don't go to clinicals.
Nope.
So putting that stuff off to the last minute is not in your best interest, because I did have people at the beginning of this program, this current program, who missed the first 1 or 2 clinicals because they didn't have their stuff all done in Castle Branch, and that puts them at a huge disadvantage.
I take it a little bit further in the ADM program. If you're not ready to go at start, you don't start, period. So I take it a little bit further. But we will walk you all through these kind of details once you come to orientation, but that's why we have the mandatory orientation, is to get you set up and give you the maximum amount of time to get everything done so that you're well prepared, so that we don't have to have these conversations at the end. One more question over here, then I'm going to go to Warsaw in a second. Go ahead.
Okay, how much is the TEAS testing?
The teas is around 45. Somebody's taken it in here, haven't they? I think it's $45.
Yeah.
$45 each time you take it. Yep. Over in Warsaw, was there any questions? I'm sorry, what? 58? Okay. When you go to take the TEAS test, somebody in the testing center could also tell you, if you are doing practical nursing only, say that when you go take the test. If you are unsure and you're applying to both, say the ADM program. If you're applying, you're not sure which one, or you want to apply to both, say ADM. We're just tracking numbers, and if you know for sure you're doing the practical nursing program, say practical nursing only and take that test. It's just a numbers, for our sake, how we look at the end results of the group, okay? Is there any other questions for the good of the whole group before we go to individual questions? Yes, in the back.
You had mentioned something about guaranteed admission.
Yes. Ooh-wee.
And then we didn't hear anything else.
Yes, totally skipped it. Phew, sorry. Okay, guaranteed admission. I'm saying it because that's on the application, very clear for both of us. Guaranteed admission is in connection with the pre-nursing career study certificate. So pre-nursing career study certificate has everything in it. If you complete with a 3.0 or higher, all those courses complete 3.0 or higher and get that certificate
Without repeating.
without repeating any course or withdrawing from any course, then you are guaranteed a spot in one of these nursing programs. That's the reward for doing that career study certificate and getting good grades. You are guaranteed a spot in one of our programs. We still ask that you take the TEAS exam, because that's going to help us know which program spot we should give you. And we will talk with you about that individually, but it does guarantee you a seat in one of those programs, and those people with guaranteed admission, career study certificate completion at 3.0 or higher get the first seats in either of these programs. But we will tell you which program you are given the slot to. You can still apply guaranteed admission, and if you don't get the program you want, you can still apply traditional, but likely you can still apply traditional, I'll just say that. Guaranteed admission, we decide which track you go in, based on your T's and your GPA, but you will get a spot. Is that clear?
And
Thank you.
If you need to know what's in the pre-nursing career studies certificate, like I said before, go to the search where on the website, go to the search bar and type in pre-nursing career studies certificate, and you can bring that up and it'll tell you everything that's in it. What you have to take to complete that certificate.
You're talking
So
about,
if somebody repeated a class, that they can't do that at all? I mean,
if
I
you,
know-
if you have to repeat any course in the pre-nursing career studies certificate, that takes your eligibility for guaranteed admission away. That doesn't take your eligibility of traditional application away. It's just the guaranteed admission piece will be taken. You can still certainly apply traditional route. Okay? Any other questions?
There was a question right there
Okay.
with the glasses.
Your transcript, if you're already LPN, do you want your transcript from that,
Yes,
even though none of your prerequisites?
yes, yes. Yes, thank you. That was about transcripts, even if you're an LPN from somewhere else, that none of the courses will transfer. You have to, one of the requirements is you have to be licensed. Some of our students, you can finish the PN program here at RCC and start the bridge program without having your license just yet. Meaning you can go straight from May graduation into June, starting the program without your license as an LPN. But you have to have that license by the end of the summer in order to progress to the next semester. So that's why we ask for everybody's transcript, period. Okay, and back in the back here, corner.
Didn't CNAs used to get guaranteed admission?
No. CNA is part of the
Pre-nursing.
pre-nursing career study certificate. You take nursing 27 and 29 and be eligible to take the boards for CNA, but there's many other class requirements now, not just CNA. That is just one of them in the career study certificate. Yes.
When I go to, the website to look up the LPN to ADN and exactly which classes I need to take, it says it can't be found.
It's right.
How do I go
oh,
about finding?
Okay, great question. The LPN to ADN bridge program just, I want to say, right before Christmas got approved at the board level. We have been hot off the press getting this new curriculum bridge program because we just switched to a new curriculum in the ADN program. We had to then switch the bridge program to the new curriculum. It just got accepted. The curriculum will be posted in the application, which should be online by Monday. But it is essentially taking the first year of the nursing sequence out of the ADN curriculum and putting you in a summer session and then taking the last year of the ADN program. But I will be much more clear in writing on the website as soon as I possibly can.
I think she said the only additional course you would have to have would be English. No,
Bio 142.
Bio 142, right,
For prerequisite.
for prerequisite.
But the actual curriculum will be posted here very shortly. But that has been a hot topic of conversation because I know it's so enticing for many people, but we just got it fully approved. We couldn't put it out until then. Yes. Yes, Pink?
Okay, so if you have the requirements for the LPN program, but if you want to bridge over, do you have to take that class before you apply
Yes.
to it in, March
Yes.
for the bridge over?
Okay,
program?
I'm not sure I'm hearing her, I'm not sure I'm understanding your question correctly. If you're in a practical nursing program now, is that what your question?
Yes, I'm in the practical nursing program, but if I wanted to do further the ADN program, do I have to do a whole other application for that?
No, it's the same application, but the same requirements need to be done. So your Bio 141 and 142 have to be done, or you have to be in them right now. So you can't start the bridge program without all the prerequisites done.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Any other burning questions before we go off live? Yes.
If you're already a CNA and for the pre-nursing for the LPN, do
those courses?
Yes. If you're already a CNA in pre-nursing, you can do a course sub and get those 2 courses covered. If you're trying to go guaranteed admission, you want to complete the career study certificate, yes, you can do that. You should see your advisor. We can help you with that. All right, yes, back here.
Okay, now think of these classes that we've taken in over 5 years, do we have to repeat?
No. The requirement of time is now removed. We don't have any requirements of time. So if you took Bio 141 or 142 or biology a long, long time ago, it counts. But I'll say the big but here, we may still advise you that repeating might be beneficiary to you. If we are very science strong in this program, and if you aren't science strong, you're going to struggle. So we want to look at that, but there is no requirement, but we would talk with you about what's best for you. Okay? All right. Thank you all very much. We're going to go off live right now and talk to you individually about your questions. We'll stay here until all your questions are answered, okay? If you're live, you can certainly email any of us, and we will do our very best to answer you right away. Did you cut us off? Thank you.